Mr. BXRP here, and welcome back. I have got some fantastic information for you today. We're going to talk about one thing is there's a scam alert, so I need to let you know about a scam that's going on out there. We're going to get an XRP ETF update. We're going to talk about crypto and the IRS. The IRS is in the news when it comes to crypto. And the big thing I want to talk with you about is $80 trillion is about to change hands from the baby boomers to the next generation. And that next generation is crypto native. So you're going to want it. I've got it right here. Hey, before we jump into it, the internet, a lot of the internet's down right now. So we can't look at Fiat Leak. We can't look at Coin Paprika. So we're going over to TradingView. If you don't use TradingView, by the way, it's a great place to watch to see the charts. So Bitcoin is at 92,176. It hit $89,000 it's sometime this morning. So it was below $90,000. Has a lot of people nervous. I'm not nervous about anything. Ethereum's at $3,086 and XRP is at $2.19. So let's jump into it. Uphold had posted this yesterday. Security announcement. We've been made aware of an email scam asking Uphold users to download a new desktop application. Whoa. Be aware this is not a legitimate ask from Uphold. Please be cautious of any such requests. Guys, you cannot be careful enough. It doesn't matter where you hold your digital assets. You are a target for scammers. So be aware of this. I mean, I even know of someone that had spyware installed on their computer, and when they were in their Uphold app, and this isn't a slam on Uphold, I use Uphold, but a pop-up came up that said, hey, you need to change your password, and it wasn't from Uphold. So you have to be you cannot be cautious enough. And that's actually one of the reasons why I actually recommend iTrustCapital. iTrustCapital is one of my sponsors, and I keep 80% of my digital assets on iTrustCapital. If you want institutional grade custody in cold storage like the institutions have, go to iTrustCapital, okay? There are no hot wallets. Nobody can steal your crypto and send it to China, send it to New Jersey, send it to Florida, send it anywhere. You're going to want to look at iTrustCapital. And if you're interested in an IRA, they also have IRAs. Fantastic company. Been doing business with them since they started back in 2018, 2019. Good people. I have a link in the description of this video. If you'd be kind enough to use my link, you'll get a $100 funding bonus. You can see the link right there in the description of the video. Okay. Cameron Winklevoss posted this. He said, this is the last time you'll ever be able to buy Bitcoin below $90,000. Look, I hope he's right, but that's a pretty bold statement for someone to make that owns a digital asset platform, and he owns Gemini. I mean, that's a bold statement. You can never be sure that any time is the last time. I think that's a pretty bold statement, but I hope he's right. And I hope that it goes up from here. It'd be good for the entire digital asset market. Hey, Zach Rector, thanks to Zach. He updated all the XRP ETF dates, which is going to be really helpful. So Canary is already live, as we know, and doing great. Bitwise is going to be November 20th. Grayscale is going to be November 24th. Franklin Templeton, the monster, I think 1.6 trillion in assets under management. They're going to be 11/24. So next week, 21 shares, we're waiting for the date. Coin shares, we're waiting for the date. And Wisdom Tree, 21 shares and Coin shares have not updated their filings properly to start the 21-day countdown. So Wisdom Tree, 21 shares and Coin shares, they have to update their filing to be able to do it within 20 days. Otherwise, they're going to have to wait for the original filing waiting period, which I think might have been 180 days. So maybe that 180 days is actually shorter than the 20 days, and that's why they didn't refile. So we will wait and see. This was from Michael Branch, and it says the U.S. government begins evaluation of Treasury proposal, which will empower the IRS to track and tax offshore crypto holding of U.S. citizens. So look, If you're a United States citizen, you can't beat the tax man. Okay. Uncle Sam wants his part and he's going to get it. So, now look, if you hold your digital assets, for instance, in a ledger, just because Ledger is a French company, that doesn't mean that your digital assets are in France. Your digital assets are actually being held in your cold storage wherever you sit, right? Because the digital assets always sit on the blockchain, which is on the internet. You're just holding the private keys. So I would assume that the IRS is going to deem wherever the private keys are held is where your digital assets are. So if you have a holding company that is holding your digital assets outside the United States, then that would be outside the United States, meaning that they have your keys outside the United States and they don't have a domicile here in the United States. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. At the end of the day, expect to pay taxes on your digital assets. It's going to happen. They're going to get theirs. You can't get away from it. Okay, this is huge. Okay, this is massive. Let me read this, and then I want you to hear it from Simon McLaughlin himself. He's the CEO of Uphold. This guy has done a tremendous job at Uphold. Here's the post on Twitter. Banks are waking up to the greatest wealth transfer in history. 80 trillion is shifting to digital native generations who expect money to move instantly. Listen to what Simon says. Listen to what Simon says.
What banks are waking up to is over the next 15 years, there's going to be the largest wealth transfer in history.
It's already started.
It's already started. From baby boomers and Gen X to Gen Z and Gen Alpha. $80 trillion of wealth is going to be transferred to digital native generations. These are people who are going to expect money and investments to be as instantly movable as a text or a video file. And, blockchain really is best seen as a recognition that most money and financial assets are just digital information on ledgers.
Right.
But in the legacy world, there are lots of different ledgers that don't talk to each other. And so you end up with unnecessary friction and cost and intermediaries. Whereas this new coming generation is going to expect instant movement of money globally. And that's what blockchain facilitates. So, the big story here is banks need to prepare for what this coming digital native generation are going to want, from financial services. And at the most basic level, they're going to want access to digital assets.
To watch more of this episode,
it's absolutely 100%. They're going to want instant settlement. They're going to want access to digital assets. Look, not a lot of baby boomers are invested in digital assets. There are some. I know them, but the majority are not. And some of them may come in now, with the ETFs, but as that money transfers to the younger generations, look, $80 trillion. I mean, if just 10% of that comes into the digital asset market, it will be a huge increase in the market cap of digital assets. It's unbelievable how much money is coming into this market. We're only just over 3 trillion right now. And I remember when we were under 100 billion. I mean, so when I tell you that the digital asset market is going to be 25 trillion, 50 trillion, and 100 trillion someday, I know it. I 100% believe that. 100%. Okay, so this is Charles Hoskinson has been making his rounds, and he's out there saying some interesting stuff. And let's hear what he had to say. This was posted by CoinDesk.
Every day people are asking simple questions. Why is there less and less food in my shopping cart? Why is it harder and harder to pay for my mortgage? They're talking about 50-year mortgages now, And so when they see that type of stuff, they say, I want sound money. There's really only one option for sound money. It's the cryptocurrency space. So they'll gradually work their way there. And now that institutions are embracing it, it's easier now than ever for people to come on in. It's just, unfortunately, it's just been challenging this year, given the high politicization and the tariffs and some unrealistic expectations and some botched false starts. But, it only slows the Giga Chad bull run down. It doesn't stop it. So I think 2026 is going to be an incredible year. Privacy is going to be the one that kind of launches it and brings back retail. And then all the other guys are going to get a halo effect from it. And we're going to see a big lift in the industry as a whole. And I think we'll close out 2026 with $250,000 Bitcoin and a very healthy and vibrant ecosystem.
So Charles is calling for a $250,000 Bitcoin next year. Which means Charles is not a believer in the standard crypto cycle, because really the standard crypto cycle should be really over really this year or early next year. So, and maybe he's right. Look, maybe the first quarter of next year it does hit 250,000 and that's the end of the cycle. Assuming that we're going to continue the same cycle pattern, which a lot of people believe the cycle is changing, it's flattening out because institutions are now here in the crypto space, and we won't see the fluctuations of, you know, Bitcoin hitting its peak and then having its 80 to 90% drawdowns, which has been historically the case over time. All right, this was in from CoinMarketCap latest. The Trump Organization will tokenize its Trump International Hotel Maldives development with partner Dar Global, allowing investors to purchase digital shares in the luxury resort ahead of its 2028 opening. The world is going to be digitized. If you don't believe it, watch it happen, okay? It's starting to happen right now. Your house will be digitized. If you own an apartment building, it will be digitized. If you own an investment property, it will be digitized. Art will be digitized. Race horses will be tokenized and digitized. Everything will be tokenized in the future. It will be wonderful because there will be instant liquidity for people that own assets. We're moving toward it. And look at the ledgers that are being used for tokenization. Ethereum, XRP Ledger, Solana, Canton Networks. These are the platforms that Wall Street and that institutions are looking at right now doing their tokenization. There'll be others, but those are the ones that are actively being used right now. I'm going to end it right here with XRP Las Vegas. XRP Las Vegas, April 30th to May 1st of this year. It is an awesome time. If you're an XRP person, you need to go to XRP Las Vegas. If you want to get to meet the people that you've been chatting with on Twitter or been listening to on YouTube all these years, come to XRP Las Vegas. This year it's at the Paris Hotel, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. Brad Kimes does a tremendous job hosting this event, and Ripple is the main sponsor this year, which is really, really cool. And their presence there will be really, really strong. So I suggest you go. I'll see you there. And look, that's it for this one. I'm not a financial advisor. By the way, if you're still here, I've got some news to break to you. You're my people. So now it's time to subscribe to my channel, share my videos with anybody you think might like them. It's free to subscribe, so hit the subscribe button. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always do your own research. See you next time. Bye-bye.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.